Buenos dias, Zamboanga Peninsula. Welcome sa Kapihan sa Bagong Pilipinas. Hatid ng Presidential Communications Office and Philippine Information Agency. Ang programang ito ay isang plataforma para sa ating mga national government agencies na ihayag ang kanilang mga programa at serbisyo sa taong bayan. Ngayon po sa ating ika-17th episode, makakasama po natin ang Department of Labor and Employment. Pero bago ang lahat, we would like to invite everyone to please like, share, at mag-comment po na inyong mga katanungan sa ating live stream via PIA Western Mindanao Facebook page and via Dole Region 9 Zamboanga Peninsula Facebook page and other government agencies Facebook pages po natin. And of course, we would also like to acknowledge all our media partners who are watching us live all over Zamboanga Peninsula, from Isabela City, Zamboanga Sibugay, Zamboanga del Norte, Zamboanga del Sur, at Zamboanga City po, nakasama po natin ngayon sa ating venue. Hindi na po natin patatagalin pa ang ating programa. Let's introduce po our guests for today and let's hear po an opening message po muna from the Regional Director po ng Department of Labor and Employment in Region 9. Via video message po, we have Director Albert Gutib.
Buenos dias, maayong buntag, magandang umaga, Assalamualaikum. It is with great pride and enthusiasm that we are given the opportunity today to share and report the remarkable achievements of the Department of Labor and Employment under the leadership of our Secretary Bienvenido Ila Cuesma during the administration of President Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr., highlighting the efforts that have driven us to continuously deliver our programs and services to our constituents in the entire Zamboanga Peninsula region and even beyond border in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, particularly in the provinces of Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to the Presidential Communications Office, or PCO, and to our valued media partners for allowing us to share our accomplishments through this platform of the Philippine Information Agency, or PIA, the Kapihan sa Bagong Pilipinas. Allow me to introduce our resource person who plays a vital role in ensuring smooth implementation of big ticket and key programs and services of DOLE in partnership, of course, with the different stakeholders and partners on the ground. His expertise, experiences, and consistent demonstration of quality public service will surely provide us with valuable insights in today's discussion. Help me welcome our newly designated OIC Assistant Regional Director, Engineer Wesley D. Tan.
Buenos dias to our partners from the PCO-PIA and of course our members of the Zamboanga Press Club and the KBP. A pleasant good morning. Greetings from your Dole Regional Office number 9. In the name of our Regional Director, RD Albert Gutib, we are here to communicate to the public and present our comparative performance, our wins, and highlights on the key programs and services covering the period year 2022 to August 2024. Of course, the outline of our presentation, ladies and gentlemen, will be anchored on our plans, programs, and initiatives under the Philippine Labor and Employment Plan 2023 to 2028. Likewise, we will be presenting the accomplishment on the key big-ticket programs for the years 2022 and hanggang August of 2024. And our final presentation will be our ways forward on the highlight and the big ticket projects. Of course, as we all know, no, from the Philippine Development Plan of 2020-2028, we are also anchoring the Philippine Labor and Employment Plan. These are all anchored on the human-centered transition for just and sustainable workplace. Likewise, we are also targeting key sectoral outcomes in increasing the income earning ability of the Filipino workforce. This includes our continuing dialogue with the tripartite plus partners. You know, social dialogue and tripartism remains to be the cornerstone of the programs and services of the department. Likewise, we are also anchoring on the sectoral plan in support of the President's social economic agenda and the Philippine Development Plan. And Decent Work Country Program is also the pillar of our programs. Of course, the Philippine Labor Employment Plan, ladies and gentlemen, has the following priorities. No? Number one, in maximizing productive, remunerative, freely chosen, and sustainable work and employment opportunities. Likewise, we are also working to improve and respect for the fundamental principles and rights at work as enshrined by International Labor Organization. And likewise, it should be inclusive, including our partners from the informal sector in the areas of social protection. So these are all our bases and the anchor of our major programs and services. At this time, we will be sharing to the public the accomplishments, the highlights, and the performance on the big ticket and key programs. In the areas of the special program for the employment of students, so these are for the poor, deserving, and qualified na mga students, including out-of-school youths. No? The department for the almost 3-year na administration ng Marcos Jr., we facilitated itong or assisted the following. For the year 2022, we were able to facilitate almost 10,000 or a performance rate of 168%. Last year, we were able to provide bridging employment to 8,879 or a performance rate of 158%. And for this year, we are happy to present to the public that as of August 2024, of the 4,318 na imposed targets, we were able to provide short-term employment to poor deserving students and out-of-school youths to the tune of 6,408 or 148% accomplishment. Presented in the slides are our important data and figures both in the bar chart as well. So in our financial utilization, we are also very proud to report to the public that for years 2022 and 2023, we maximize the allocation under the SPEST. So we have a 100% utilization rate for 2022 in the tune of 36 million, for 2023, 37 million. For this year, we are at a 90% utilization rate at 28.5 million. Yan, isa din sa mga banner program na gusto nating i-continue to pursue is the government internship program. These are the programs intended to provide the needed experience to our young professionals under the GIP program. We are also significant accomplishments in the GIP for this year, we were able to facilitate 1,485 interns placed under the government internship program. So in terms of our utilization of the funds, we are proud to say that for 2022, we we're able to utilize 96%, and for 2023, 94%. No? This, some of the funds for GIP were implemented multi-year. So kaya meron tayong hindi 100% na utilization rate, pero we are in the succeeding years we were able to utilize the funds allocated for GIP. For this year, of the 86 million na budget, we were able to utilize 72% or 62 million as of end of August. Okay, so yan, we are also happy that part of our services to the new graduates, to the completers, as well as to those job seekers who would like to seek for another employment, that aggressive tayo in partnership with our public employment service offices in facilitating job fairs, including our educational institutions, state universities and colleges are also our strong and reliable partners in providing for itong mga hosting of job fairs. So, on the very significant indicators for job place or job fairs is actually the placement rate for our qualified job seekers. So for start January until end of August 2024, of the 212,271 qualified job seekers, a placement rate of 93% was accomplished, or in terms of figures, we were able to place qualified job seekers at 197,068. So ito, we are aggressive in partnering with the local government units as well as our private sector in trying to really advertise the vacancies and ensuring that our job seekers are qualified when they visit or when they go to the sponsored job fairs. In terms of utilization of our public employment services funds, so we are proud to say for the years 2022 and 2023, we're able to utilize 100% of the allocated budget. For this year, we are at only 24% or 1.7 million of the 7,312,000. We are expected to host the 24th National Peso Congress, kaya the bulk of the budget of the 7.3 is intended for the hosting of the 24th National Peso Congress. And we are confident through the leadership of R.D. Albert that we will be able to utilize. In fact, we requested additional funds for the hosting of this national gathering of the peso managers and the job placement officers. Of course, part of our very important task is the sharing of the labor market information to our job seekers, to our employers, and to other stakeholders. So for this year, with a target of 85,000, we were able to reach 488,631, or to the tune of 575% accomplishment. So aggressive tayo dito, because as we know, rebounding from the crisis and still experiencing other crises, the relevant, timely sharing of the labor market information is very significant, especially katatapos lang ng mga graduation ng mga college students natin and the completers. So where are the jobs? Saan natin nakikita ang mga employment generators na industries? What are the emerging offerings? So these are the things that we share together with our guidance counselors and peso managers. Of course, in our efforts really to ensure that compliance with the general labor standards, the social welfare legislations, and occupational safety and health, part of the visitorial and enforcement function of the secretary, we are presenting, or we are pursuing the labor inspection activities. For this year, for the SENA program, ito po yung may mga issues ng mga requesting party natin that they visit our office and we see that there is possibility of settlement or dialogue. So we, under the single entry approach program, we invite the responding party under the SENA program. So we were able to settle of the 264 requests for assistance. Our field offices, including the regional offices, were able to settle 261 of those assistance to the tune of 99%. For the past years, we are also one of the top 3 in the country that was able to have a settlement rate of more than 95%. For the inspection program, we are proud that majority of our employers in the region are compliant to the general labor standards, health and safety, and social welfare legislation. Of course, our efforts are continuing. We partner with LGU, with our social development partners like SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig, including ECC and OSHC, in trying to ensure that compliance are being met in the interest of workers' protection. So nakapag-inspect na po tayo ng 664 qualified and priority establishments out of the 613 as our target, to the tune of 108%. For the past 2 years, we were able to reach 105% accomplishment in the areas of enforcement and inspection activities. So nakapag-utilize na rin tayo almost all, for the years 2022 and 2023, 100% of the regional labor inspection program funding. So lahat ng mga capacity building for our inspectors and all the technical and advisory visits sessions for the micro enterprises na finance po natin. So for this year, we are only at 58% as of end of August. And we are confident naka-pipeline na po itong ibang mga funds to ensure that the labor inspection program is being implemented at all according to our plan. Of course, for the establishments employing 9 workers and below, the developmental approach for them, because majority of the establishments in this particular area may mga gaps or deficiencies in complying with the labor standards, with safety and health and social welfare requirements. So the approach is actually to provide them training and advisory visits. We present to them the requirements of the law for micro enterprises, and kung may mga gaps, they do self-assessment, and they are required to accomplish a checklist and an action plan on how will they voluntarily comply with the minimum requirements. So we were able to conduct and reach 4,772. Konti na lang ito, because our target is 4,785. As of end of August, we were our accomplishment rate is actually 99.7%. So we provide our PESO managers from the local government units, as well as the organized private sector groups are helping us provide itong mga partnership in terms of venues, in terms of other logistical requirements. Because these sessions are being conducted sa municipality level, yung outside of the central districts of the particular city or municipality. Of course, as a proactive stand, we also reach out to mga plant level sessions or special sessions in the labor and employment education program. The latest issuances of the department we bring to the plant level, or we organize mga learning sessions. So on that score, we were able to reach 100% accomplishment as of end of August, hitting or reaching out to workers, employers, as well as students to the tune of 58,231 stakeholders provided with labor and employment education program. Of course, bannering our programs and services, we implore tripartism and social dialogue. No, the government cannot do it alone. We need the support and assistance of our partners, both the employers, the workers, organized workers, as well as the unorganized workers, including the informal sector workers. And of course, the government, no, our government partners is part of this continuing dialogue natin and tripartism and social dialogue approaches. So ito no for so part of our indicator is really when we meet with the various industry tripartite council is actually to pass or adopt resolutions on labor and employment concerns. We have 10 industry tripartite councils in the major or key employment generators, ranging from rubber, seaweed, fishing and canning, construction, retail and service, and of course the manpower services, including ITC and Education Industry Tripartite Council. Ito po yung mga partners natin, no, that we regularly convene, and part of our initiative and expected output is the passage of resolution. So through that tripartism engagement, nakapag-pass tayo ng 7 resolutions for this year, no, and na-acknowledge ito ng central office, and from these resolutions, meron tayong mga actions taken to address the industry issues and concerns. So we are also in constant dialogue and provide capacity building and sessions for our organized union. So for this year, nakapag-reach out na tayo to 102 members of the organized union, not only providing capacity building, including livelihood assistance, no? Because we believe yung income augmentation sa kanila man or sa kanilang dependents are very vital, no, in ensuring that the food and the non-food items or requirement for our workers are being met. In relation also to the support to the union, the department continuously provide support to their dependents. Ito po our scholarship assistance or programs natin. So nakapagbigay tayo ng 10 scholarship o nakapag-sustain tayo ng scholarship programs to 10 dependents of union members or officers under the Isabelo de los Reyes scholarship program. So ito nakakatulong talaga, no? So later on we develop from them the graduates, the responsible union leaders, no, that can help the establishments or seeing the establishments or company as partners in development. So for the utilization of the funds, no, we really maximize what is intended for the program. We use it for the years 2022 and 2023, 100%. And for this year, because these are scholarship support, no, including yung mga tuition and other requirements, no, requirements ng miscellaneous. So 71%, the remaining budget is intended for the remaining months of the school year to support our 10 scholars. So bannering also our isa sa mga big ticket project is our DOLE Integrated Livelihood Program. These are support program for our organized mga informal sector, including the formal sector. Nakakatulong tayo, kasama dito ang mga fisher folks, the farmers, and the vendors, as well as the cooperatives. We provide livelihood support to them in the kung hindi pa nagsimula, formation, kung nagsimula na, we see that they are successful, we provide enhancement, and in the event of there are damages or the said project was hit by calamity, so there are also restoration initiatives under the DILP. So for the past years, we were able to hit 186% and 130% for 2022 and 2023 respectively. For this year, nakapagtulong na tayo ng 2,097 beneficiaries providing for livelihood assistance. So we are at 60%. So these are all program to ensure that ending this year, we will be able to hit the almost 3,500 target. So in terms of budget, significant po ang budget ng livelihood program natin. For 2023, at 31 million, for 2022 I mean. For 2023, we have a dramatic increase in terms of budget. We were able to utilize 114 million of the 117 million allocation. Some of the funds here are continuing funds, so na-implement in the year 2024. For this year, we are happy to present to the public that of the 88 million intended or downloaded to the regional office, 69 million ay nakapag-utilize na tayo or nakapag-obligate na to the tune of 78% utilization rate. These are all very important because again, when we are hit by calamity, the livelihood assistance or the other interested associations that would like to form or organize their group and request for livelihood, may mga assistance tayo. So in the areas also of the tulong panghanap buhay sa ating disadvantaged workers program or yung commonly known as TUPAD, we are implementing TUPAD, by the way, not only for Region 9, including our nearby provinces of Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi under the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. So for the past years, for 2022, nakapag-provide tayo ng emergency employment to 354,401 for 2022. For last year, we assisted or provided emergency employment to 138,605. And today, as of end of August, the regional office, nakapag-implement tayo ng TUPAD that benefited 113,944, both for regions 9 and of course our nearby provinces of Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. So in the areas of our utilization of our financial allocation, for this year alone, by this third quarter, nakapag-download na po ang central office sa atin ng 1,160,475,124. So of that amount, we were able to implement through direct admin and co-partners approaches to the tune of 716,145,164 or 62% utilization rate. Yan na po, benefiting 113,900 44 beneficiaries. In the past years as well, we significantly utilized our funds to the tune of 95 and 91% for years 2022 and 2023. The remaining, bakit hindi 100%? Because some of the funds there are continuing funds. So, na-implement the year after the fiscal year. Of course, we also are happy that part of the interagency collaboration natin in the Philippine the Child Labor Prevention and Elimination Program, we aside from the profiling activities that we are doing in the case management together with our interagency partners, nakapag-provide, monitored na after the profiling, we were able to we were able to monitor as of August 2024, monitor 6,108 of the profiled child laborers, not only child laborers, including at risk of engaging into child labor activities. Child labor really is a prohibition. Ang gusto natin, ang mga bata ay nakapag-aral, nasa school sila, they experience normal growth and development, nakapag-laro, they utilize toys and not tools for the job. So these are reports from the ILO that may mga child laborers engage in activities that are detrimental to the health, safety, and normal development. So the Philippine Labor Prevention and Elimination Child Labor Prevention and Elimination Program is our initiative, our programs to address itong mga engagement ng mga child laborers. So, of these monitored child laborers, DOLE and the partner agencies was able to assist 4,629 child laborers. These are significant because from the case management result, we assess their needs in terms may iba sa kanila, walang mga legal documents. Yung iba, there are health concerns. Yung iba, education concerns, including their parents and guardians. So we address them, we endorse to the agencies with jurisdiction. DOLE as well is providing livelihood assistance to the parents and guardians. So we are happy that na-sustain natin itong program against child labor. In terms of funding support as well, so we are happy that the intended funds being utilized for the purpose. So 98% tayo as of end of August this year. So ito, we are presenting to you the DOLE 9 fund allocation. Ito na po, kabuuan na, the summary of our regional funding, both regular and inter-fund transfer. For 2022, of the 1.9 billion allocated to us, we utilized 1.843 billion, or 96% utilization rate. Some of the funds here again are continuing funds. So we are also implementing even after the said year. For 2023, of the 1,021 million, nakapag-utilize tayo ng 947 million. And for this year, as of end of August, we are happy that we already obligated 1,019 million of the 1.575 billion allocation, or a utilization rate of 65%. So these are all collective efforts of the Dole Regional Office. Hindi namin magagawa ito kung wala ang mga partners, no, natin from the LGUs, regional line agencies, and of course the private sector, both the labor sector and the management sector, including our media partners. No, very significant ang assistance ninyo in trying to bring out or to promote our programs, interventions, and services.
Thank you very much po once again. We have Engineer Wesley Tan, the OIC Assistant Regional Director of Dole Region 9. Very comprehensive po ang kanilang accomplishment report po na i-share at naibahagi po sa atin ngayong araw. With that po, we will now entertain our questions from the media. But first, we will answer questions po muna from our online media viewers po na nakatutok ngayon sa ating live stream. First, we have a question from Basilan po, media natin. What are the current labor market trends and how do you expect them to impact employment in the region? Once again, we have Engineer Wesley Tan to answer this question po. Yung mga katanungan po ninyo ay sasagutin po. We will try to answer. Yes po, Engineer.
Sige, Ma'am Myra. No? So, we are presenting dito sa slides natin ng regional labor force statistics natin, no. This is a official results from our PSA. Significant ang employment rate natin, no. For July 2024, Region 9 registers 97.2 employment rate. So ibig sabihin our unemployment rate is only 2.8%. Pero significant pa rin ito because in terms of number, this is pegged at 46,000, no, all over the region. From the 36,000 on April 2024, nag-increase ng unemployment rate to 46,000. So this is understandable, no, because majority, no, of these individuals that are unemployed, these are the new graduates. So we expect that the unemployment rate of the region will really increase, no. Pero we are also confident that through the assistance of our public employment service offices, no, as well as the LGUs, and the indispensable assistance and support of the private sector, we are conducting yung mga job fairs, no. Nakikita naman natin the presentation that we were able to place 96%, no, of the qualified job seekers dito sa mga job fairs, while there is an increase in the unemployment numbers for the region, pero there are also several interventions that we are doing, no, to address these particular gaps. For the underemployment rate as well, no, na-reduce ito, no, from 19.1% na unemployment rate last April 2024. On July, we were nakapag 6.6 na underemployment rate tayo from 295,000 individuals that are underemployed last April 2024, nasa 108,000 na lang po tayo. Of course, these figures are not good news, no. This really speaks of the quality of employment na meron tayo, pero we are confident, no, both for the government projects and the major private sector na projects, this will really propel or provide the needed employment opportunities and quality employment on that matter to our constituents.
Thank you po, Engineer Wes. Follow-up question lang po. How does DOLE support the development of entrepreneurship and small businesses in the region, particularly in terms of job creation?
So, okay. So, we all know that majority of the industries na meron sa Pilipinas are actually under the micro, small, and medium enterprises. In fact, our statistics reveals, no, almost 92% no, of the establishments in the country are micro, small, and medium enterprises. So, dito rin sa Region 9, ganun din ang landscape natin. So, the trabaho, as we all know, there is a law no, that was signed by the President, President Ferdinand R. Romualdez Marcos Jr. No, last year, September of last year, yung trabaho para sa bayan law. No? And the implementing rules and regulations was likewise passed last April of this year. So it's headed by, of course, NEDA, DTI, DOLE, and the partner agencies. One of the significant inclusion on the Trabaho para sa Bayan law is the support to the micro enterprises, because we believe this administration provides the needed support for the micro enterprises. That is why our interventions is no longer inspection no, for them, no, because we would like them really to provide the needed support. Bakit ba maraming mga violations, may mga gaps or deficiencies sa mga micro enterprises? So we provide technical assistance, advisory services, and the needed support sa kanila. Likewise, there is also a new program no, that we call the DOLE Adjustment Measures Program. These are intended to support no, itong mga na-experience sila ng mga economic shocks. No, there is a livelihood support both for the enterprises and the workers affected na nakapag mga human-made calamities and man-made calamities. Significant ang contributions ng micro enterprises. So the government puts premium, no? Not only DOLE, including DTI, and as well as mga financial intermediaries are providing the needed support. So the question on the requirements, no, itong mga gaps na nakikita natin, the one-stop shop services of the LGU and the requirements of the financial institutions are being streamlined to ensure na kung may mga support na kailangan ng mga micro enterprises, these are customer and friendly sa kanila.
Ayun, thank you po. Next naman, we have a question from Zamboanga Sibugay. What are the updates or changes in labor laws and that employers and employees need to be aware of, and how does DOLE ensure compliance with these regulations?
Of course, no, in the areas of, while we do developmental approaches no, in trying to assist our micro enterprises, so nandiyan pa rin ang ating visitorial and enforcement function. So the priority industries, no, we are doing inspection like hazardous undertaking, our construction industries, pinupuntahan pa rin natin establishments employing women, yung mga engaged in contracting and subcontracting arrangement. No? Lately, there is a move no, from our legislators no, to have across the board legislation or legislated wage, no, the department, no, through our Secretary Bienvenido Laguesma already issued a formal or official statement no, from the department that we will make ourselves available should the Senate or the Congress no, necessitates technical assistance. We will cooperate, pero as it is, we remain that the established mechanism is the Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board no, in trying to set the minimum wage and provide productivity no, improvement trainings under Republic Act 6727 or the Wage Rationalization Act. Our significant issuances this time, no, because we are trying to engage with the department because there are issues on from El Nino to La Nina no, and other mga environmental hazards no, or elements that is affecting no, the private sector, no, the government through DOLE is constant no, in issuing labor advisories and engaging the public sector, the private sector, I mean, to implement flexibility to the and support to the workers, no, while there are already mandated leaves, no, with this mga problems na encounter natin, ulan, baha, no, and other economic disruptions, developmental ang approach natin in trying to engage the private sector, the management sector in particular, to provide flexibility and consideration to our workers.
All right, follow up po to that. With that po, what are the common labor rights violations you encounter in the region, and how does DOLE addressing these issues?
Of course, from our inspection activities, no, the major na mga gaps or violations that were unearthed no, in the inspection activity, yung pa rin, no, some are walang mga may mga certain portion na underpayment of wages. So kasama na dyan kung underpaid tayo. So may mga gaps on the underpayment of the 13th month pay, non-payment of the special and regular holidays, no, as well. So yung iba are in the areas of social welfare coverage, no remittance, timely remittances on SSS, PhilHealth and Pag-ibig. So major din ang mga nakikita naming gaps on non-provision of safety officers and first aiders, no. So from the inspection activities, ito ang nakikita natin both for labor standards and social welfare concerns, may mga gaps.
Thank you po. Next naman from Zamboanga del Sur, similar po sa question kanina on common labor rights violation. You mentioned about the non-remittance po to PhilHealth and SSS. So kumusta po yung cases? How many cases po so far na merong concern on non-remittance to PhilHealth and SSS? And what measures po does your office take to ensure that employees feel safe and unafraid to report non-remittance issues?
Very significant yung coverage and remittance with social welfare institutions, no. Our department, while pursuing inspection activities, nakikita natin yan. So based on our existing guidelines, no, the Department Order 238, that is the administration of the labor standards, no, dito, we immediately endorse, no, itong mga establishments na may mga gaps on SSS, PhilHealth and Pag-ibig, in-endorse natin sa office with original jurisdiction, no. Although kino-cover natin siya sa mandatory conference, pero in as much as may mga opisina din talaga sila looking into the welfare of the workers for social welfare coverage. So the proper remedy is we immediately, no, endorse from our field offices, in-endorse na sa mga respective provincial offices ng SSS, PhilHealth and Pag-ibig as well.
Thank you po. Another po from Zamboanga del Sur pa rin. I think na-answer na to kanina. Ang question niya po is, how does the region currently stands in terms of unemployment and underemployment, and what actions are being taken by the department to address these issues? So I believe na report na po siya kanina and na-present po kanina yung ating status on that. Next naman po, is there possible wage increase soon? Why and why not po?
Okay, so you know our regional director, CRD Albert Gutib, is also the chairperson of the regional tripartite wages and productivity board, no. The board is composed of labor representative, management representatives, as well as from the private sector. Nandyan ang NEDA, nandyan ang DTI, of course headed by Dole, our regional director. So as we all know, the existing wage order, the effectivity was last November 2023. No? There is really a marching order, no, from our senior leaders, no, that the start of consultation and environmental scanning is a priority. That is why, as you can see from the previous slides, may mga efforts na po ang ating regional tripartite wages and productivity board. So they will be conducting hearing and public consultations, no, to the members, to the private sector, labor and management alike. So again, this is a very good platform na sinashare namin. So if you are in the areas, no, nandyan sa napaplas sa ating screen, please make yourselves available kung may mga respective na issues tayo or position paper for that matter. Please be present during sa mga series of region-wide consultations so that your voices will be heard by the Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board. So may marching order na talaga ito, Ms. Myra, and our also, no, may mga environmental scanning as part of the initial discussion, engaging with the Department of Agriculture, data from the DTI, data from the Department of Energy, as well as NEDA, no, ang kinoconsult natin yan. So yun, efforts are being instituted concretely to ensure that the public is being given the opportunity in this series of public consultations.
All right, thank you po. Last na lang po from Zamboanga del Sur. How does DOLE, no, this one po. Ano po yung mga requirements po for TUPAD beneficiaries? How do you make sure that the beneficiaries are qualified? And what are the work tasks given to TUPAD beneficiaries? How do you make sure that they accomplish the same?
Of course, the TUPAD, no, is an emergency employment program of the department. These are intended to the disadvantaged and displaced workers, no. Priorities yung mga nawala ng trabaho, no, from the private sector, or kung may mga negosyo sila na disrupt, no, ng economic disruption, TUPAD program will come in, no, displaced workers. Parte din ng priority beneficiaries are the marginalized, vulnerable, and the disadvantaged workers, no. Kaya may mga nakikita tayong mga community projects, no, na nag-engage ang mga marginalized, vulnerable, including the underemployed, no, na individuals. So the minimum requirements, of course, no, dapat kasama sila doon sa vulnerable workers, marginalized, and as well as disadvantaged and displaced worker. There are profiling forms that they have to fill up, no? And of course, ang implementation of the TUPAD program, it comes in two approaches. Merong direct admin that is being administered by the DOLE, no, our field offices, ang nagpro-profile, ang nag-implement, they provide the PPEs as well as they pay, no, the salary of the workers. The second approach is through our co-partner, no? The co-partners may be civil society organizations, people's organizations, and even the LGUs are co-partners in the implementation of TUPAD. Ibig sabihin, upon completion of the requirements, including the financial stability of the said co-partners and resolutions, including the equity, no, there is a required equity of 20% for the implementation of TUPAD. So dina-download natin ang pera sa respective or qualified accredited co-partners, and they do the implementation. Together with our PESO offices, the DOLE is still there to monitor and ensure that the intended beneficiaries as submitted in the work program, sila yun nagtatrabaho doon sa community works. No, the works include yung mga restoration of damaged public edifice, mga improvement ng ating mga public projects, kung may mga ongoing projects ang LGUs, so pwedeng gamitin ang TUPAD as the labor component. Yan po talaga ang intention ng ating emergency employment program.
Ayun. Next question naman po from Sir Jung Francisco of Mindanao News and Information. First po, with the increasing demand for digital skills in the workplace, how is DOLE 9 preparing the workforce in the region to meet this demand? And are there any training or upskilling programs currently available?
Of course, recently, we visited the Project Job Speed program. The program really ensures that the requirements of the industries are being met with the supply. That the workers have the required skills or competencies that the industry needs. So we visited that and we convened for the jobs and labor market forecast. So ito po ay study and a consultation workshop. We engage the relevant stakeholders including DepEd, CHED, TESDA, and PRC, para makita natin yung sa supply side. Likewise, in that jobs labor market forecast, nandun din ang mga key employment from the key employment growth sector. So nagtanong din tayo sa kanila, in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years, what are the required skills na ang pangangailangan ninyo, including sa mga micro-entrepreneurs. So in such a way, the government in general will produce or will capacitate ang ating mga workers to meet the demands of the industry. Kasama natin ang TESDA dito, aggressive din sila in providing the needed training, upskilling, and retooling of our workers. So significant ang role of the Public Employment Service Office because they really, from the database or registered na mga job seekers from their end, they see that yung mga needs or they assess the needed skills training na kailangan ng mga workers. So, interagency din ang approach natin dito. We two-prong approach. Titingnan natin ang supply side from the educational industry or tech-book institutions, and titingnan din natin ang demand ng mga private sector.
Ayun. So I think this next question po was also answered na regarding the collaboration of DOLE to local government units and private sectors to create a more sustainable employment opportunities. Do you want to add po?
Gusto nating i-highlight yan, Ms. Myra, because with the PESO institutionalization law, nare-require na talaga lahat ng LGUs from the municipal, city and provincial level to really have a public employment service office, office with a permanent position as well as permanent or significant budget. We share common constituents here, the LGUs and the national government agencies. We ensure that the job seekers or other providers ay nakakapag assess sila ng mga programs and services, including the first-time job seekers law. So, importante ang LGU dyan, that the needed certificate is being given to the first-time job seeker, and of course, the implementing agency that they recognize that itong mga relevant certification na kailangan ng mga first-time job seekers are being given for free. In fact, we go down now from the PESO offices, some of our field offices and LGUs, and we congratulate the local chief executives, the mayors, for institutionalizing the BESO, this time, the Barangay Employment Service Offices. Hindi lang sa city level, including the barangay level, because from this, makapag-profile ang barangay. Ano ba yung karamihan ng mga workforce na meron siya? Ano ba yung mga gusto ng mga, especially ng out-of-school youths or na mga not in employment, education, and training. Kung may mga database or profile, ang mga barangay employment service offices ay makapag-endorse tayo or makapag-bridge tayo sa offices na may jurisdiction so that the needed interventions and training will be crucial. So both sa national level, sa regional, sa city at sa barangay level, importante po ang pag-create ng mga employment service offices. And we are happy that a significant number, 78% of the LGUs in Region 9 ay mga established na sila na mga public employment service offices.
Alright, thank you po. Next po from Zamboanga del Norte naman. Currently, what are the most in-demand skill sets in the workplace and in what fields po sila in demand?
In terms of skills, no, from the data of our last job fair, no, because aside from the DOLE sponsored job fairs, there are also various job fairs that are being conducted by our local government units. In fact, our last job fair was last Friday, no? Last Friday during the handog ng Pangulo, no? Sapat na serbisyo para sa lahat, no. Nakita natin doon, no, sa ang mga skills, no. Ayan, no. Ayan na plus okay, yan. Plus on your screens are, no, from the major, no, number of vacancies na meron tayo that participated in the job fair. Our production workers, of course, may mga ano din tayo sa retail, no, retail and service, and of course from the service sector, may mga requirements din sila, service crew, and of course majority nandyan din sa construction industry. So from these vacancies, dyan natin nakikita ang role, no, ng Public Employment Service Office. So dapat ang mga job seekers or interested applicants ay yung skills na meron sila or competencies are aligned to these needs of the industries that are being offered in the series of employment facilitation activities.
Alright. Follow up naman po doon. Ano-ano po yung advice natin para sa mga fresh graduates o sa mga naghahanap po ng trabaho para mas maging employable sila in the current working climate?
Of course, no, we have a program, no, kung nasa school pa lang sila, no, our partners, the guidance counselors, advocates, no, meron silang career development and support program. Dito po natin nakikita, no, yung while graduating pa lang or nasa college level or nasa junior or senior high pa lang ang ating mga students, there is already a career development support program that is being instituted, no, by our job placement officers, no, na nasa school base. So pine-prepare sila, no, ang kanilang portfolio, no, ang mga documents nila, as well as yung mga skills requirements. So yun, PESO and the JPOs are crucial, no, in the preparation of our job seekers, no. Direkta sa mga job seekers, you know, there are many online offerings in terms of training, no, in terms of training and other upskilling and retooling na meron tayo. So you have to capitalize, no, on that trainings, and of course kung may mga pa-trainings talaga, no, TESDA has a lot of trainings, no, you visit their website, no, including to mas marami tayong competencies, mas marami tayong skills, and that will give us an edge, no, in the labor market. Competitive na ang labor market, so our job seekers must also be equipped, no, and physically, yung technical skills natin, as well as other relevant skills na meron tayo.
One last na lang po, basahin ko lang from our online viewer. From a friend rescue po, si Ma'am Jenna Granada, watching from Pinian, Zamboanga del Norte. Is there an opportunity for friends rescued to be employed with the help of DOLE?
Okay, so no, from our relevant from our existing DOLE Integrated Livelihood Program. Meron po tayong ang ating mga friends rescued, no, are isa sa mga priority na bigyan natin ng support, no, in terms of employment facilitation. Number one, kung di naman nila gusto magtrabaho, pwede yung livelihood support. Pwede rin in the short term yung mga emergency employment support. DOLE is one of the agency under sa PRLEC, no, Poverty Reduction and Employment Facilitation Committee under the National Task Force Ending Local Communist Activities, no, yung NTF-LCAC. So yan po na ini-enroll natin ang mga activities natin dyan. Hindi lang ini-enroll, ini-implement natin kung ano yung kung qualified ang ating mga friends rescued, no. We assist them to our Public Employment Service Office and our various field offices. So meron po ating mga kaibigan, no, kasama dyan. So number one, you can visit our PESO office in the kung saan man kayong munisipyo or syudad, and we will profile kung ano yung meron tayo na mga skills, ano yung mga inclination natin in terms of trainings, anong interest natin so that we can provide the relevant support.
Ayan. Thank you very much po. Again, maraming salamat po sa ating mga media partners watching live at sa ating mga viewers po sa inyong mga questions. Now we will proceed with our on-site questions naman sa mga media po na kasama natin today. First, we have from Sir Hermie Ventura of RMN.
Sir, buenos dias. Sir, I have only two questions. My first question is, sino ba talaga yung target natin, yung mga beneficiary ng TUPAD? And my second question is, based po sa seminar namin na ginawa namin tungkol dito sa BESO, yung conclusion and yung resulta ng seminar namin, ang mga problema ng mga job seekers ngayon ay patuloy pa rin nag-e-exist itong mga palakasan system, at least with experience. Buti na lang wala na yung with pleasing personality. Ano po yung mga programa natin dyan para at least hindi na mahirapan pa itong mga job seekers natin? Thank you po.
Okay, no, under Department Order 239 series of 2023, ito po yung existing guidelines natin in the implementation of the DOLE Integrated Livelihood and Emergency Employment Program. So dalawang component yan, ang livelihood or kabuhayan, and yung isa yung TUPAD or yung Emergency Employment Program. Our guidelines really espouses na ito na, yung mga marginalized, vulnerable, disadvantaged, and displaced worker. So these are the qualified and eligible beneficiaries under the said program. The profiling, no, is being done, no, at the level of the barangay or at the level of the proponent na tinatawag natin. Ang proponent pwede yan maging people's organization, civil society organization, even associations. Even the barangay LGU can also do that. No? From the listing na sinasubmit, no, ng ating mga respective na mga proponents or applicants, so sinasanitize po yan ng Department of Labor. There is a second stage of assessment na ginagawa natin. Of course, titingnan natin baka ito ba ay nakapag-avail na ng TUPAD for this year. No? You know, TUPAD is implemented, dapat isa lang sa household, no? Isa lang sa household, tapos isa lang, once lang kada taon. Unless naging biktima na naman siya ng ibang mga human-made or natural calamity, nabahaan or nasunugan and other thing and other mga environmental hazard. So maging qualified na rin siya ulit sa ating emergency employment program. We are doing our best, no, to ensure that the most qualified, na vulnerable, marginalized, displaced, and disadvantaged are being prioritized in the programs of the TUPAD. Yung second naman, nakikita natin ang profile ng ating mga job seekers, no? And of course, yung mga problems ng palakasan system and other mga imposed requirements. Number one, we acknowledge also the prerogative of management to impose yung mga minimum requirements as mandated by law. Pero nakikita nyo na ngayon, wala ng age, because there is already an existing law, age discrimination law in employment. So hindi na talaga pinopost yan. Although may mga na-receive kami, konti na lang talaga. So we reach out to the employers or the recruitment agencies na naglalagay ng anong klaseng requirements. Yung palakasan, hopefully hindi po nangyayari yan sa job fair setup, sa job fair or mga sponsored job fairs. Because in the sponsored job fairs, we do orientate pre-job fair or employers orientation. Yun, sinasabi natin that these are mga requirements na dapat ni-require natin, and yung palakasan system sa private sector, rare siguro, because from our experience from a big mall here, they accept, they accept mga applicants nag-meet ng minimum requirements. Ang sunod, may mga binibigyan sila ng mga compliance sa documentary requirements, hindi na bumabalik ang ating mga job seekers. Siguro yun ang areas na gusto naming pasukan, together with PESO, on how do we provide assistance. Bakit hindi sila nag-comply? Likewise, ang ating mga employers dito sa fishing and canning industries, ang sabi nga nila, we can even accept yung mga elementary or nasa primary basic education pa lang. Even without skills, they are willing to train our workers or our mga job seekers. May mga corresponding issue tayo dyan na yung profile ng mga job seekers as well. Yun ang titingnan natin, that the employers this time, dapat may mga programa din sila in trying to address the unique behavioral patterns of our job seekers, the Gen Z, or some are the millennials now in the workplace.
Sir, pahabol, last na lang po. Sir, ano po yung update or kumusta na po yung programa natin regarding po dito sa mental health policy and program in the workplace? Thank you po. Okay.
So ito, these are the prevailing issues, yung mental health concerns. The department, together with DOH and the Civil Service Commission, both for the private and sector, meron na tayong policy issuance in trying to address yung mental health concerns ng ating workers. The highlight of that joint memorandum circular is that we engage the private sector, the employers especially, to have a safety and health program, industry or plant level safety and health program. And of course, dapat meron tayong talagang health and safety officer. So itong health and safety officer, which is the secretary of the committee, of the committee, Health and Safety Committee, dapat sila we provide the technical assistance for them to plan, develop, and implement the safety, health, and environment program of the department. So, ina-engage natin yung family welfare committees. There is an organized group, yung Federation of Family Welfare Committees in the region. Kanya-kanyang provinces, meron din mga family welfare committees. So, sila yung katuwang natin. We provide capacity building in such a way, yung relevant na assistance and bridging, bridging sa mga example sa PhilHealth, yung consulta package, na we are working on that together with the family welfare committees ng plant level, so that they can also implement itong mga relevant government assistance for free, for free. So we acknowledge yung mental health not only in the private sector, including dito sa government workers as well.
Alright, thank you po. Next question naman po from Ma'am Lorraine Agramon of Radyo Pilipinas.
So, hello sir, good morning po. So here's my question po. So DOLE already gave schedules sa gagawing consultations sa iba't ibang region about the release of adjustments on workers' wage rates. So we may know po kung may mga isinagawang consultations na po ba sa Region 9 and kamusta po ang cooperation ng mga stakeholder regarding this wage hike?
Okay, thank you very much. No, actually, parang as early as first and second quarter of this year, may mga environmental scanning na ginagawa na ang ating board the board secretariat, no, because nakita naman natin with the inflation no, and other mga economic disruptions na nangyayari. Pero yung formal consultations, ayan po ang naka-flash sa ating screen, no? The Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board will hop, no, from one areas to the other, no, all over the region, including Isabela City, for the conduct of the wage consultation. Importante po ang wage consultation because from this forum na nakukuha na ang ating mga board members, no, ng mga saloobin ng mga position papers ng ating both labor and management. So ang ating panawagan, no, through our board secretary, of course our regional director is the chairperson of the RTWPB, is to make yourselves present, available kayo doon, and kung may mga position paper man kayo on how this consultation affects you as a worker or as an employer, so please make that available. You know, there is a set of criteria, no, na tinitignan ng ating wage board, no, in trying to deliberate yung mga wage setting function nila. So, and both labor and management and as well as the government's position is being studied, no, and assessed.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next naman, we have Sir Justin Bulanon of Radyo Pilipinas.
Sir, good morning. You made mention earlier about the programs of DOLE regarding the child labor prevention and elimination. Kumusta po ang sitwasyon dito sa Region 9? Ano po yung worst forms of child labor or exploitation na naitala sa Zamboanga Peninsula? And gaano po kalala ang problema sa region? Do we have data kung tumaas ba o bumaba ito?
Okay, so you know, from the regional office, regional setup, there is a mechanism, no? There's the regional anti-child labor committee, no? These are composed of our partners, not only from the government, including the private sector, civil society organization, including labor and management representatives, no? We look with priority itong mga children engaged in child labor activities or yung mga at risk of becoming one, no? Ang nakikita natin, ang engagement nila ranging from doon sa agri-sector pa rin, no? Agricultural sector, nandun sila. Tapos meron din sa mga dito sa mga public or barangay markets, no? Tumutulong ang ating mga children dito sa kanilang mga parents or guardians, including some other mga establishments, no, na hindi naman sa formal, no, yung mga informal engagement or economic activity, nandoon ang ating mga child laborers, no. Good that a profiling activity, no, is being instituted. Yung profiling natin actually is a holistic approach because it's case management, no. From there, nakikita natin ang needs ng ating mga child laborers and their parents or guardians. No, after the assessment na ginagawa, ine-endorse natin sa ating mga relevant government agencies kung may kailangan siyang na dokumento like wala siyang birth certificate. So in-endorse natin kung related ba sa NCIP, yung mga requirements nila sa DepEd, sa DSWD, or even sa DOH. So pina-facilitate natin. No? Plus, sa ating screen, kung nakikita natin yung ating mga relevant performance. No? For this year, hindi lang sa monitoring, no? Because part of our responsibility is to monitor yung mga na-profile. No? At the end of the day, ang gusto talaga natin is matanggal sila sa child labor activity, no? That walang child laborers dito sa Region 9. Pero meron tayong mga assistants. So itong not only monitored, itong assisted ang nakikita natin. Of the 6,720 na deliverables natin, nakapag-assist na tayo ng 4,629 or 69% as of August 2024. Again, we don't get the sole credit, no, on this. Katuwang natin ang interagency council both sa regional, provincial, municipal at saka city level. So we encourage pa rin, no, that kung may mga nakikita tayong, no, mga children, no, below 15 years old na nag-engage in child labor. Again, child labor po, hindi po yung child work. No? Yung child work that is allowed, no, allowed under our guidelines, pero yung child labor, ibig sabihin yan, yung activities na ginagawa ng ating mga children are detrimental to their health, safety, and normal growth and development. No? Na sasacrifice na yung education nila, hindi na sila nakakapag-live normally because they are engaged into livelihood that are hazardous to our health safety.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po. Next naman, we have Sir Dan Toribio of Zamboanga Times.
Good morning, Engineer. Follow-up is na child labor issue diato, no? Okay. The programs of DOLE on child labor issue is very impressive, no? As you said a while ago, mucho kita mga programa, ali. Pero as we speak today, Engineer, if we go out on the street, there are still minors who are engaging in the selling tempura, fishball, juices, and etc. etc. So, el mío lang, Engineer, este programa del DOLE puede hablar para na child labor issue is a diplomacy, the diplomatic approach, no? Pero may ba kita authority para man take legal action against those irresponsible parents who are sending their children to child labor instead of sending them to school?
Okay, sir, ito nga, with the Interagency Council, yung isa sa mga mechanism na nakikita natin, yung mga reporting of the presence of itong children engage in child labor, engage in mendicancy and other activities are really prohibited. No? There is an existing law, really, no, Republic Act 9231, no, that provides a special or strong protection, no, sa ating mga working children and the prohibition of child laborer, no. Pwede, no, even the parents and guardians, no, under that law ay mga penal sanctions ang batas na yan, no, and the relevant government agencies are doing its best, no, in trying to address itong presence ng mga children. Ang data natin, I think, is not more on superficial. No? Is not a superficial data because the numbers, that initially the report comes from ILO. No? In the Philippines, accordingly, no, in the last 5 years, kung nagsimula itong programa na klarong profiling, that there are 1.2 million child laborers, no, as reported by ILO engage in hazardous work all over the Philippines. Kaya na-conceptualize yung Child Labor Prevention and Elimination Program. So yung profiling natin, nag-invest talaga ang DOLE ng mga enumerators and profilers, no, to do the profiling. Hindi po siguro na sagad talaga, pero our data reveals that almost 7,000 all over the region ang na-profile natin. And from that profiling, monitoring, tapos yung relevant assistance. Hinahanap talaga natin sila kung naka-provide na ba ng assistance, and ultimately our goal is to take them out, no, to take them out from the activities or conditions nila na child labor.
How about in filing charges against these irresponsible parents, sir? Kay LDM yung sir observation, siguro hindi el parents mandala, si hindi mira chine parents siya man preso kapag sila tama na trabaho ko dila anak invest in eskwela. So siguro sir, puwera al diaton the diplomatic approach ko ng mga parents, bata, dahil tamira kanila, kay duro kita gente, manpail kaso kanila para dali sample na todo, sir.
Yes, sir. The PNP Women's and Children's Protection Center is part of our interagency council, sir. And part namin dila mga responsibility is to yan, yung mandate na yan, no, trying to pursue yung mga legal actions. And they are also reporting, no, sa council natin that efforts are being instituted, no, so that ma-prohibit talaga, no, prohibit, and that even the parents and guardians are may mga responsibility sila under our existing law to put them in their proper places, and to the sanctions and penalties are in place. Siguro we further not only our advocacy, pero itong particular area na ito in the enforcement of or implementation of the said law.
Sir, my last question, sir, is DOLE, tiyan kita programa na todo sektor, dahil trabaho, job fair alya, no? Pero hindi nilang, sir, concern, no? Siguro din yung mga uban na media ay espanta ay rekumego, no? Pero yun, sir, concern namin yun, estos mga entertainer, mga GROs, kasi sabi ito, hindi todo GRO, hindi todo entertainer o mga bar girls kaya sa trabaho. Kaya por kasa sila hindi qualified para trabaho, mga decente trabaho, takita entertainer or GRO. So, LDOLE ba kita programa para mga GRO diato, mga entertainer as in general?
Okay, so I was reminded, no, before answering that, there is already a law, no, that yung Eddie Garcia law. So ito naman, not directly answering that question, but I will answer that. Yung working conditions ng ating mga persons, no, or workers engaged in ito, kasama ang media, production, and other workers. No? The department was tasked to develop the implementing rules and regulations to ensure that the working conditions of the media industries are being looked at. No? So hopefully, hindi matatapos itong year na ito, makapaglabas na tayo ng department order or the implementing rules and regulations of the Eddie Garcia law. So yun namang ating mga kasama na mga talents, no, and yung mga entertainers, may mga programs on training sa kanila, no, programs on training or to further enhance yung mga skills nila, no, and yung mga talents. Pero in the areas of workers' protection, no, to ensure that the company is complying with the minimum wage, with social legislation. Kasama po yan, sir. Kasama po sa mga inspection and visitorial and enforcement function ng department that will look, no, into the concerns. Because workers pa rin sila. These are workers in the private sector, and these are all part of the mandate of the department in trying to ensure that general labor standards and the working conditions of these talents and performers are looked into, and management complies with the said requirements.
Thank you po, Sir Dan. Next po, last two na lang. We have Ma'am Jasper Sumagang of XFM.
Good morning, Engineer. Sa labor inspection program po, dito po sa Zamboanga City, may mga na-inspect po ba sila na hindi po nag-comply sa compliance po ng DOLE? And ano po yung usually ang hindi nila kino-comply po?
Of course, our data reveals that we have only a compliance rate of 89%. No? So itong compliance rate natin, meron itong violations unearthed after inspection. No? Example, nag-inspect tayo, no? We examine employment records. Our inspectors examine employment records. They interview workers and they make a walkthrough, no, of the establishment to ensure that occupational safety and health as well are being complied with. After the conduct of inspection, there are notice of inspection results that are furnished both to the laborers, labor representative, and to the management. No? Ang nakikita natin, 89% lang po ang compliance rate natin. This speaks of Region 9, no, in general. So ibig sabihin, the remaining 11% are non-compliant establishments. So may mga pagkakataon na after the conduct of inspection, they are given 20 days to correct the said gaps or deficiencies. May nagko-comply na during that correction period na tinatawag natin. Kung wala silang compliance, so the inspection is docketed as case. No? So hinihear yan for the period of 30 days under the mandatory conference. May mga pagkakataon din during that period ng mandatory conference ay nako-comply ang ating mga employers. So what we're trying to say is while there are gaps, there are violations na nakikita natin during inspection, the employers are complying with during the correction period and during the mandatory conference. Pero our records will also reveal that some are being nagiging compliance order talaga. Ibig sabihin, wala talaga silang compliance. So the execution or the issuance of compliance rate is the next phase, and our regional director is issuing the said order, and our regional sheriffs are doing the execution of that compliance order. So majority pa rin, no, has something to do with yun ang mga underpayment, no, some underpayment of wages, yung walang payment ng mga regular and special holiday. Konti na lang yung mga underpayment of wage, yung mga non-payment of 13th month, may mga nakikita pa rin tayo. And significant yung sa safety, no? Walang safety officer, walang first aiders na nandoon. And of course, yung others falls on social welfare coverage and remittances.
Dito po sa Zamboanga, may particular po ba kayo na numbers, yung ilan po ang hindi na nakapag-comply sa compliance po?
So dito na lang sa number sa inspection natin, we can base data na pwede namin i-share, no? Of this number na cover natin na 664, ito na 11% of this number will because 89% ang compliance rate natin. These are the establishments na nakikita natin na may gaps. I don't really have the particular number of the establishments specifically for Region 9, pero we can share that number of non-compliant establishments, particularly in the city of Zamboanga.
Ayan. Thank you, ma'am. And last question na lamang po from Sir Algie Rojas of RPN.
Engineer, buenos dias contigo. Engineer, pregunta lang iyo, regarding del mga dueño del mga establishment, si por ejemplo lang, no sila pwede mang comply con la kita mga requerimientos dali lang mga empleyado, kosa el mga kosa bal mga violasyon kay ay blakita no kay emprenta el mismo el dueño del establecimiento.
Okay, number one, we would like to emphasize that the underlying objective of the inspection activity or the visitorial and enforcement function is that as much as possible we ensure that they comply. No, compliance ang hinihingi natin. No, we are not looking for violations. We look for compliance, pero along the way may mga nakikita tayong mga gaps. Second, kung may mga gaps or violations dyan, may mga, for the micro enterprises, may mga developmental approach tayo na sinasabi nating technical and advisory visits. No? Pero kung may talaga mga underpayment, violations on wage and wage-related benefits, so may proseso talaga tayo. Again, let me continue. After, kung wala talaga sila na-comply, nag-controvert yan into a case, tapos the regional director issues compliance order. Our sheriffs, kung wala talaga pa ring compliance within 10 days no, after the receipt of the compliance order, the sheriff will execute the compliance order. Ibig sabihin ng execution, the sheriff now will serve the compliance order to the management or sino man ang responsible officer. Of course, may mga pre-execution stage yan. So, tinatawagan natin pa rin in the interest of due process ang mga respondents. No? So, kung wala talaga, so the next phase is the sheriff under the supervision of our legal officer no, issues notice of garnishment no, sa mga banks. No? Nag-issue yan ng kung saan mayroong account ang ating employers or management or sinong responsible officer. So, napiprease ang account ng mga respondents. So, yun. If that amount is enough to satisfy the order, so, kinukuha natin yung account. No? Second, kung wala naman talagang account, yung levy, no? Levy of the property no? ng employers. So, kung may anong mga property sila doon, sasakyan or other mga gamit na ginagamit sa establishment, sa operations, we can levy itong mga property of the establishment. So, yun ang mga of course there are penal provisions as well no sa ating Labor Code of the Philippines as amended. Ito yung mga corresponding mga responsibilities ng ating mga employers.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po. Pahabol na lang po. One last question from Ma'am Lea Ruiz of eMedia.
Good morning, sir. Regarding po sa recent job fair nung last Friday po, pwede po bang malaman kung ilan po regarding po data, kung ilan po yung na-hire on the spot? And yung mga data po, kung yung data po regarding kung sino pa po yung or ilan pa po yung need na may follow up po na requirements.
So sige, So part ng ating monitoring, no? Part ng ating monitoring of the results of the job fair.
54, sir.
So bigger. So at the closing, no? At the closing of the job fair that is conducted in Zamboanga City, no? Doon sa KCC Mall de Zamboanga is actually we were able to document 54 hard on the spots, no? Hard on the spots. So, ibig sabihin, at the closing of the job fair, ito po ay nabigyan talaga ng chance ng employer natin hard on the spots. No? Pero ang equally important is the data on qualified. No? So because itong mga qualified na or near hires muna, near hires, these are applicants na tutukan namin for 30 days because baka may mga kulang lang na mga requirements, and this may be still under HATS and the qualified. We are not only monitoring hard on the spots, including near HARS and qualified. Sa kabuuan naman, we registered kasi for that September 13 na job fairs for Zamboanga, Sibugay, Zamboanga del Norte, and Zamboanga City. We have 3 job fairs. We were able to hit 21% from the qualified job seekers. Nakaroon tayo ng HATS na 21%. So that is a very good number as the end of the job fair. Pero we, as part of our guidelines, for a period of 30 days, i-monitor pa rin namin yung status for the local applicants. For the overseas applicants, we are given 90 days really to monitor ano nang nangyari after the conduct of job fair. So significant din after the job fair is yung mga other results of the one-stop shop services na na-conduct natin, yung mga na-refer natin sa TESDA. DTI was also there, trying to provide the needed support and services. And SSS, PhilHealth and Pag-ibig. Ito po ang mga convergence efforts na pinupush ng department in trying to provide a very good and venue wherein the job seekers and the job providers meet by providing them itong employment facilitation job fairs.
Follow up lang po, sir. Doon po ba sa 54 na number na hire on the spot, mostly po ba doon is the newly grad na, which is yun yung target nung sinabi po sa press con ni RD po last?
Yes, yun talaga ma'am, ang ating target and significant number, although wala tayong percentage pa, we are in the process of consolidating itong mga profile ng respective na mga applicants, and historically, yun talaga, mga new graduates ang mga nakaka-hire on the spot. And majority ay dito na sa sales or retail service, and including manufacturing din na pumapasok din.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much po, and maraming salamat po sa lahat ng ating mga media partners sa inyong mga katanungan. If may mga katanungan pa po tayo, we hope po na si Dole can answer and get back to you, especially po sa ating mga live viewers na nag-comment po sa ating Facebook Live. So with that po, again, maraming salamat sa ating mga viewers and media partners. Hopefully, marami po tayong nakuha at natutunan ngayong araw sa ating programa with Department of Labor and Employment. With that, we would like to hear a forwarding message naman from our resource person. Again, from Engineer Wesley Tan, the OIC Assistant Regional Director po of DOL Region 9. Ayan. So while we are waiting po, again, we would like to invite and encourage pa po everyone to please po watch our Kapihan sa Bagong Pilipinas. Every week po yan, every Tuesdays at 9 a.m. So again, we have our different national government agencies po invited sa ating weekly Kapihan sa Bagong Pilipinas. And yun, so I think we are ready po to hear a forwarding message. Again, from our resource person, we have Engineer Wesley Tan.
Again, in the name of our regional director, si RD Albert Gutib, and yung mga partners natin, the Regional Coordinating Committee, partner or family of agencies ng department, together with our LGU partners, civil society organizations and people organizations, we would like to thank our partners from the media, KBP, and of course our local media outfit in trying to provide us with this opportunity to communicate our programs and services, interventions, including performance dito sa public. Special mention of course sa PCO and the PIA, headed by Ma'am Director Noemi Edaga, and of course Ma'am Myra, no? Your Department of Labor and Employment, no, we would, as our ways forward, no, we are working really what is due or allocated to the region ay ma-utilize natin yan 100%, no? Because from the perspective, no, or marching order of Secretary Benny Laguesma, no, we are doing injustice if we will not be able to utilize 100% of the budget allocation intended for our region. In fact, no, sa dami ng mga requests natin na tinatanggap sa regional office, no, we are still requesting additional funding para hindi po madihado ang mga qualified beneficiaries natin in the region. So that is number one. Second, we are working, no, as part of the interagency committee yung cascading or implementation ng mga enrolled activity natin under the Trabaho para sa Bayan law, no? So this coming September, tomorrow 18, no, the NEDA will facilitate, no, another workshop, no, engaging our stakeholders, private, public, including the civil society organizations and people organizations dito sa workshop nila sa Trabaho para sa Bayan. We will be on board. Our Industry Tripartite Council vice chairpersons will be there. Itong gusto natin, the blueprint for that, this is a 10-year plan, and dito natin makikita saan ba nanggagaling ang mga trabaho from the city, province, and municipal level, and what are the emerging industries, what are the emerging jobs so that we can prepare, no, our workforce. We continue to sustain the spirit of tripartism and dialogue with industry partners. No? Importante yan because at the end of the day, they are really the key employment generators in the region. And part of our enforcement function, no, we strengthened our monitoring, especially sa mga priority industries, yung mga nag-employ or engaging into contracting and subcontracting, yung hazardous undertaking, yung fishing, no, large fishing operations, yung mga commercial fishing and domestic shipping as well, no, part yan ng mga priority industries natin for inspection, including the construction industry. So there are also programs that we implement in Convergence. We continue to strengthen our internal and external convergence activities because this is what we call the whole of the government approach, no, that we mas marami ang tutulong, no, mas maging relevant ang ating assistance sa ating mga partners. Of course, the micro, small, and medium enterprise remains to be a priority, no, na amplify yan sa ating Trabaho para sa Bayan law that not only support them in terms of capacity building, including incentivizing yung mga MSMEs and yung mga tech-boc institutions that provide training and scholarship sa ating mga trabahante. We also enrolled, no, under the Productivity Improvement Portfolio Project yung 3 major industries: fishing, canning, rubber, and seaweed. No? Ito yung mga industries that are labor-intensive, and nakikita natin medyo mababa ang productivity level ng particular 3 industries ito. And so under the Mindanao Project Portfolio, ito yung mga priorities that we would like to assist. No? Hindi lang kami, meron ding mga convergence initiatives na tumutulong din ang LGUs and other relevant government agencies. Again, as shared earlier, no, the Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board, which our regional director is a chairperson, ongoing na po ang environmental scanning and nakaschedule na ang mga public consultations. Ang panawagan natin, make yourselves available. Please participate and get involved in this tripartite consultation. Part ng GAA natin, no, is in instruction that priorities for interventions must go to the port and 6th-class municipality. As you can see, ng mga DILP natin, our Emergency Employment Program or TUPAD, ito po ang mga priorities natin, port to 6th-class municipalities, and of course, areas hit by calamity, and yung mga areas din na register ng high poverty incidents. As intimated by our regional director, likewise, we continue to support yung mga funds downloaded for the provinces of Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi, and of course through sa DOL9, we continue to support and implement the said project to our neighboring provinces under the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. So these are some of the priority projects, interventions and services na pinupush natin hanggang end of 2024, and some of the projects there will even have a spillover hanggang 2025. So we cannot do it alone. Convergence and of course the collaboration ng ating media partners and all stakeholders are indispensable para maka-reach tayo sa most deserving, qualified sa ating region.
Okay, maraming salamat po muli. Thank you sa ating panauhin. We have Engineer Wesley Tan, the OIC Assistant Regional Director of Department of Labor, Region 9. And maraming salamat po sa lahat ng ating mga viewers. Muli, maraming salamat rin sa buong team po ng Department of Labor and Employment Region 9 and sa PIA Region 9 for making this episode possible. Ang ating 17th episode po ng Kapihan sa Bagong Pilipinas. Magkita-kita pa po tayong muli sa mga susunod pa nating episode. Sa ngalan po ng Presidential Communications Office Secretary Cesar Chavez, PIA Director General Jose Torres Jr., and PIA Regional Head Ms. Noemi Edaga. Ito si Myra Espinosa. Muchísimas gracias.